Bolton over the top takes an absolute screamer. And it's not even Mark of the Week. I'll tell you what, here on the Friday Night Sports Show, there's been a fair bit of discussion in the studio about Shea Bolton. Why was that mark not selected as one of the marks of the week? What's going on, Jace?
Oh, I'm not sure. This is what happens when you leave things up to a public vote. Sometimes people get a little bit complacent. I think everyone just assumed that would win Mark of the Week. Brody Myercheck's grab, which was named Mark of the Week, wasn't a bad mark, just quietly. Any other week of the year, it probably wins Mark of the Week. And in fact, every week of the year, it probably wins Mark of the Week because it did this week too. Yeah. But look, they have come up with a solution to the problem here. And this isn't just Shea Bolton's. In the past, we've seen certain grabs that didn't win Mark of the Week that probably should have. So what they've done is at the end of the year now, each Mark of the Week goes into the final, but there will be a total of 5 extras added to the pool. And you can bet your bottom dollar that one of those will be Shea Bolton, and you can bet your bottom dollar that Richmond fans won't let him down a second time.
No, I don't think they will. Tell you what, for the Saints and Geelong fans, we've got the colours on the scarves here. I mean, you've got your Panthers scarf there, but I got the Saints one out of the cupboard. The Panthers, of course, in South Australia, do wear the exact colours of Geelong. And anybody want to send the Friday Night Sports Show guys a Geelong scarf? Well, we'd be happy to have one up in our studio as we collect them for all of our AFL clubs. So get in touch with us at news@flowfm.com.au or go to our Facebook page, Flow Sports, which is a new Facebook page that you can have a look at. Hey, Bolton, tell me about it. Busted hand, not playing, a nightclub thing. Don't have to comment on the alleged incident and all that sort of stuff, but should footballers be out at night celebrating?
No, to be quite frank, Flowman, through their playing careers, no, they shouldn't. And I say that not because, it's I don't want to be tough on them. Yes, the players should be able to have a life of their own away from football, but privileged paychecks and privileged positions in a game like AFL football come with certain responsibilities, and protecting your club from certain incidents that can happen when you're out and about is part and parcel of that, I would have thought. This isn't the 1990s anymore. It's not the 1980s. You can't just sneak on down to your local and have 15 cans and then go to training the next day. I was watching Tony Modra's open mic conversation with Mike Sheehan last night, and he mentioned he missed training once before round 1 of 1994 because he'd had a long lunch with some family. It was his birthday, and he got grilled over it back then. Now, look, at the end of the day, these boys, Richmond have backed them into the hilt. They said they've done nothing wrong other than defend the honour of, I think it was Rioli's girlfriend.
Yep.
And we've got to take them at their word until there's, evidence to the contrary. But the AFL have not given up investigating on this.
And I'll tell you why. Because Rioli's girlfriend was at work at the time. She was actually conducting for a nightclub, but she was spinning the discs for them, and so it's a workplace incident in actual fact. And that is why it's going to go further, and that is why Richmond came on the front foot very early and very quickly. But enough on that. I'm not going to say any more about that investigation.
We need to leave that alone, but just know that it's not over yet.
No, it isn't. It's not over for Geelong or St Kilda either, because if you're listening to the Saturday morning repeat, you will know the result, but it is a big game between these two sides, and we got the colours in the studio for it tonight. I'm going for the Cats.
Yeah, I think the Cats will win as well. St Kilda have been much improved over the last fortnight. Good win against the Suns, come from behind last week, but they haven't met anything like this Geelong unit, which has woken up after a slow start, and the Cats will win well. Now,
Collingwood have got one really, really good player in Jordan De Goey. He was the difference last week to beat the lowly North Melbourne. I don't think you can win it with the Jordan De Goey against the Swans. They've got a much better outfit than North, and the Swans at home for mine.
Yes, Jordan De Goey. Unfortunately for Collingwood, the Sydney Swans have the perfect matchup for him in Dane Rampy. And Moore, of course, in defence, back in defence, was best on last week for Collingwood. And, he'll go head-to-head with Buddy Franklin. So their two best players last week will be blanketed and not have the impact they had last week, and the Swans will win comfortably.
Hawthorn were facing being second to bottom before they played the Adelaide Crows at at Launceston. They won unlikely in the second half, probably didn't deserve it, but did win it. And now they get at the same venue, the other lowly side in the competition that they could beat at that venue in North Melbourne. I've tipped Hawthorn purely because it's in the Launceston Stadium.
Unusual situation where 2 weeks running we've got 17 versus 18 on the ladder. Last week Collingwood managed to rise themselves away from that spot and throw Hawthorn down there. Now, North Melbourne don't mind playing in Tasmania either, and they've been better, but I made the mistake of tipping North last week. I can't do it again.
Yeah, I did too, would you believe? Both of us on the same train, but maybe we do the show together too often. Yeah. Gold Coast Suns take on the Brisbane Lions. It is the big Q clash at Metricon this time. Gold Coast improving. Lions, though, even with a couple of injury niggles, I think should get home.
This will be closer than most people think, but the Brisbane Lions will prevail.
Richmond take on the Giants. A lot of talking about this being the match of the round. Giants have got some injury worries. Richmond obviously have got their own, but Dustin Martin come into this side, and you just get a feel that Richmond at Marvel, even though it's at Marvel, not the G, against the Giants, got a feeling they can beat them just on what they did. I know last week against Geelong they were shocking in the second half, but surely that Richmond side is not going to turn up 2 weeks running.
Well, Flowman, first of all, I have to question, and I don't say this very often about Richmond, but why isn't this game at the MCG? There is no other game at the MCG on Friday or Saturday. Now, why is that game, Richmond taking on the Giants, not at the MCG? I do not understand that scheduling. In fact, I think it's an insult to GWS. This game should be at the MCG. It should have 60,000 screaming Richmond fans there, and it should be match of the round, and probably still will be at Marvel. But for mine, I think Richmond, these are the games they just bounce back from. They were disappointing last week. The Giants have been pretty good in the last month. They've got their backs up. This is danger game written all over it for the Tigers, but watch Dusty Martin be best on and get the job done here for the Tigers.
Who gets him? And that's the question. Who takes Toby Green too at the other end of the ground? Port Adelaide play the Western Bulldogs. This is the match of the round. In fact, Port supporters here in the office have been reminding me all week that the Crows don't play match of the round games anymore because they're at the bottom, but Port Adelaide are match of the round games because they're, way up near the top. I guess you can't argue with that methodology. And on the Saturday night, the big screen, the big match, Western Bulldogs get their chance to take a big scalp in Adelaide.
Well, they do. They get a chance. Port Adelaide, though, this is what it's all about for them. Their opportunity to get into the top four and stay there. It's all set up for them. They were pretty good in the showdown last week. They take on the Bulldogs at home and watch them fold up like a $2.
You were just halfway through that and I looked at your face and your eyes were popping out. You wanted to punch the wall. I mean, your Shea Bolton got into you or something.
I just want to finish that sentence because I don't want it to be misconstrued. Watch them fold up like a $2 tent, Port Adelaide. They will be terrible against the Western Bulldogs, and I'll tell you why. Yeah. They will not handle the Bulldogs' midfield pressure. Yeah. That whenever Port Adelaide get put under the pump, they fold up shop, and I think you'll find the Bulldogs will just have their measure.
I reckon they'll fold up quicker than my dad's old beach chairs. It's deck chairs on the beach. They'll fold up that quickly.
As soon as it came out of my mouth, I thought this could be misconstrued as something else, but never mind.
Rescued you again.
Yeah, thank you.
Essendon and Fremantle. Who's going to rescue the Dockers? They're sliding away after beating the Crows at Adelaide Oval and looking magnificent. They now have Essendon at Marvel, and I've actually gone for Essendon here.
Oh, yeah, I think Essendon do win this game at Marvel. You just can't trust Fremantle at the moment.
No, you can't. Melbourne play Carlton. Can you trust Melbourne? At the moment, you can. I mean, they've won everything that they've played this year.
How can you not?
I've got to tip them on that ground. You can't tip against a side that's 8 and zip. They're going to lose sometime in the future, but is it to Carlton? I don't think so.
No, I wouldn't have thought. Patrick Cripps apparently having injections for a broken back most of the year. That's the story. Wow. And if that's the case, well, you'd have to question what they're doing playing him.
Oh, wouldn't you?
Yeah, just very odd. But last game of the round, the West Coast Eagles hosting the Adelaide Crows at Optus Stadium. and there's nothing surer than an Eagles win here.
Yes, I think so. The Crows with some injuries, Walker out of their side. They've got injured, two or three of their forward line, Murphy and McHenry, both out injured last week.
Let's see some kids.
Let's bring them on. Let's play the kids and the battle of Crows and Eagles. Eagles are much bigger than Crows, and I can tell you that defensive unit of West Coast is much bigger than the Crows forward line and will beat them and beat them comfortably. That is a look at AFL.